hell?
I fixed it.
Not better.
What?
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
I'm so wasted!
Why? You didn't even fix the part we've been trying
I
to...
totally fixed it. You know what?
The last bit is what we wanted to change. You changed the part that's good.
No.
Oh,
No.
Jesus.
Keith, I
can't
said
do
to
this.
myself, I'm doing this tonight. I knew you were going to start a fight, but the intro, it wasn't right. So, hey, baby, come on. I know you worry about my feelings, Keith, but just hit me with the truth. You're more than welcome to. Give me one good reason, and I'll change the intro back, okay? But this was my bout into engineering since we murdered our last engineer. But, yeah, I think we should keep it going once, going twice. So, it stays! Hello, everybody! Welcome to another wasted hour. This hour will be filled with two ridiculous, idiotic, nonsensical buffoons rating about opinions that they probably shouldn't have, and as far as opinions go, are most definitely wrong. If for some reason you find yourself attracted to dangerous men, however, search for another wasted hour on the Bookface, Instagram, Twitter, and just about any streaming apps for podcasts because we're taking over the internet forever. The internet! Like, follow, tweet, retweet, reply, insult, send snail mail to another wasted hours idiots. And that being said, my name is Victor. Across from me is my co-host Keith. Keith, why are you here today?
I question that right now with every bit of my being. I have no idea. I have never once wished Adam was back. Engineer Adam, I miss you dearly.
Rest his soul.
God. But I do have good news.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. April 11th, that's today, around 8:30 p.m. Guess what? The world has a brand new giraffe.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Nope, not at all. It's still fucking in that giraffe. I don't know it's gonna come out an old giraffe. I don't even know.
It's the Benjamin Button of giraffes.
It's gonna get like retirement funds before it comes out of that other giraffe. Do they even have baby giraffes? I don't think I've seen one. So
they don't actually exist.
yeah, I don't think they do. I think there's like unicorns. Those are real. There's ghosts, of course. Baby giraffe. Nope. Not a single example of one. I don't believe it.
Don't Google it ever. Trust me.
Yeah. I don't know how it is living in there as long as it has been in there.
We already said it's going to, the outer giraffe is just going to peel away. And there's just going to be a new giraffe underneath.
Giraffe.
That's how it's going to
Pinata giraffe. How about you,
that'd be
Victor?
mean.
Why the hell are you here this week other than to screw up our entire intro?
Don't hate. All right. It's a definite improvement.
I gave you free reign to make the show better, and this is what you've come up
Yeah,
with.
I made it way better.
Oh, I am not
But
looking forward to this.
I am here to announce my impending retirement because once this airs next Monday, a whole bunch of people are going to hear it, and I'm just going to start receiving honorary sound engineering degrees from all sorts of universities. And I'm out, man. I'm out. After the sixth one comes in, I'm moving, I don't know, I'm Tierra del Fuego or something.
Do any of those universities actually have sound degrees? Like,
Does it matter? They're honorary.
like it's Lincoln Tech? like, we don't do sound here. We do motors, but here.
But you did a real good job.
It was great. I'm pretty much deaf, so I can't tell because I'm around diesel engines all my life.
These engines. Around engines.
Yeah. Well, I think we can probably get a third-party opinion about how the intro went, because in studio today, we have two members of the folk metal band Sekengard. We have Sarah. Hello,
Hi.
Sarah.
Hello.
And we have Adam.
What up?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Doing good.
Excellent. Adam.
We're in your beautiful basement recording a podcast. What's not to like?
I have beer.
And you, the beer's also awesome. And you have a fiddle. You're a fiddle player in a metal band, which is pretty unique.
Yeah.
You don't see
for
that
sure.
every time.
No.
And Adam, you play bass.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And you have to forgive me, but you look really familiar, Adam.
Yeah. About 2 years ago, I was on the Trivial Show talking about this band and a festival we had.
Oh, okay. So you were here before. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was thinking like, I feel like I know that guy. And so, okay, great. Cool. Well, that's great. I'm glad you decided to come back. And I'm glad you guys have joined us today. We have a track from you guys. My understanding, Howling of the Fen?
Yep.
Howling of the Fen.
Howling
What
of
is
the
a
fun is way better.
Howling of the Fern? What is a fen?
Swamp.
It's a
It's
swamp.
another word for a swamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a howling swamp. If people are interested into what a folk metal band sounds like, you should fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this podcast. We have the entire track there. You take a listen and come back to us. In addition, we'll be doing a sample of the music here a little later in the show. If you were to describe it, since this seems like a collision of two brands of music that don't often share a stage, how does music exist being both metal and folk?
You combine like the really edgy, I guess, brutal parts of metal, and you combine it with a kind of melody that's just older than time, and you kind of combine it together, and it kind of creates this really epic, brutal feeling.
So like moshing to drinking songs.
Yes.
Exactly. It's metal music, but with more triplets and more drinking.
It would have been greater if you had said, you just take the really like angry parts of folk and then you mix them with the parts of metal where you're crying about political freedom, and there you go.
That's how.
It's also right.
That's how metal and folk work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is also sometimes correct with what we do.
Yeah, but then I would also be like, could you just do the part where I'm moshed to drinking songs?
Yes.
Basically, there's no pleasing Keith
No, not at all.
ever
That's just
about anything.
it's how I am. It's how I exist in this world, is to just go to people on to.
Noticing. You don't know how much time I spent on that intro, damn it.
Yeah, well,
still
it
bitter.
wasn't good. So, so you play fiddle.
Yeah.
Does that have any kind of distortion on it, or how does that come across?
Not generally, no, not for folk metal. At least not for me. Some bands do put distortion on it just for funsies, and other bands that are not folk metal who have a violin in it, sometimes they put distortion on it too. But I don't typically. I just let it run clean.
So there's some real classically like folk sounds happening and intermingling with what would be kind of the metal rhythm and kind of a growl, you would say.
Yeah, in addition to her fiddle, we also have our other original member, Dan, doing mandolin and bouzouki now on a few new songs.
It'd be better if it was bazooka. That would be way more metal.
We don't trust Dan with any sort of dangerous instrument.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We don't even trust him with words.
I was thinking bazooka gum. Like, yeah, just have him chew into the microphone. That would be a good instrument for Dan.
What?
He would just die.
Where are you guys based out of, by the way? We're obviously a podcast out of the DC area. Are you also in the DC area? Or?
Pretty much the entire band is based out of Baltimore.
Baltimore, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a pretty big folk metal scene up there, or what?
There wasn't before we started.
And then you dragged people kicking and screaming into folk metal.
Our good friends Isengard, they started just after we started. I think a year after we formed the band, they formed their band, and then we kind of met at Metal Mondays at Autobar, and we meshed and we're like, let's play every single show together. And there was like an entire year where we played literally every single show together, and it was kind of terrible. Now we hate them.
And it was actually kind of funny how we met, because at the time we were looking for a drummer, and of course every metal drummer's in like 10 different bands.
Sure, yeah.
And we all wake up before band practice one day to find a Craigslist ad looking for a folk metal band looking for a drummer based out of Baltimore. And all of us are like, oh, hey, good job. Like, whoever put that ad up, good job.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like a Three Stooges, none of us put we all put the yeast in kind of moment. Like, wait a minute, there's another folk metal band looking for a drummer? We got to kill them.
We have to steal their powers.
I think the way I put it was we had to storm their gates at dawn. But
Drink blood from their skulls and you gain their power. Right?
that's a little more black metal than folk metal, but...
Now, speaking...
All right, you can put any adjective / qualifier in front of the word metal and it exists.
It is the absolute worst thing with subgenres.
Blood metal, murder metal, chair metal, anger metal, black metal, white metal, stick metal,
metal.
pliable metal.
So now, one of the things that people obviously listening to the podcast won't know offhand is I've said the name Sekengard, but it's actually spelled pretty differently than you would expect it.
Yeah.
So what is first of all, how do you spell it? And then what's the origin of
It's
that?
Sekengard. Most folk metal bands are like Norse themed. Generally, there's a lot of other different kinds of folk metal around the world.
Sure.
When we made our band, we decided to be a world fusion kind of folk metal band. So we combine different folk elements from all over the world. So
Cuban?
Yeah, not yet. Maybe one day. So Guard.
Yeah, Keith gets sidetracked.
I'm not sure how many metal songs you can write about agrarian reform, but
Guard. Guard. Gard is from Norse, like Midgard, Asgard, things like that, which means basically land or world.
And Asgard's we're all now popular with the was it the
Marvel series?
Marvel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Thor is from Asgard.
Yeah.
That's
And
that
second has two meanings. The first meaning, it is from Middle English, which means to seek or to journey. It is also a Japanese phrase that combines two Chinese characters, se, which means world, and ken, which means the space in between. So when you combine the phrase se and ken in like the Japanese phrase, it means to explore different cultures and different people. So second put together is a journey. Sekengard is a journey of the world and coming together.
That's so much smarter than our name. Ours is just named after wasting an entire hour of your life.
I've heard a lot of people tell me like that's the most like well thought out name that I've ever heard of. That's way better than our band. Whoa.
Well, you came in to tell us something really exciting.
Turtle Recall is pretty good.
That was a good one. You guys are going on tour April 22nd through the 30th. You're going through Delaware, New York, Boston, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Norfolk, North Carolina. So that's going to be a pretty exciting tour. And then you're going to come back and do the Maryland Folk Metal Festival, which means there has to be enough folk metal bands to have a festival up in Baltimore. That's
at least two.
Yeah, at least two. Saturday, August 19th. So that's a little ways off, but plan for that. So that's pretty exciting. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But without further ado, I want to move on to one of our ridiculous little moments. This is what we like to call the weather report.
So we're going to throw...
Are you serious?
Sorry, I had to indulge.
Are you kidding? God damn it.
Just enjoy it, Keith.
No, I don't
Smell
want
it.
to enjoy it. Just do the bit. This is the... you're the worst.
We're no strangers to love.
Just tell them about the weather report.
Sorry, had to dance. So we're going to throw some headlines at you. It's really hard to focus with that, I realize. And these are things that have happened in the world, in the news this past week or so. And you can decide whether or not it actually should have been news, because we're all tired of fake news. So you decide whether or not it should have been on the TV.
And to specify, this is real news. You just get to decide if it should have been real news. So I'll start this off. I've got something that I think is really good. So I'm guessing neither of you are big hockey fans. I don't know.
I have dabbled.
Okay. So there's a team called the Red Wings out of Detroit, Michigan. They're a historic team that's been around for a long time.
In the butt of a lot of college jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And so they just closed their arena that's been there for decades and decades. And they're moving to a new arena. So they just finished out their season. And apparently, as part of the ceremony of closing out, that one of their players who played in the like 87 in the 80s, he was an enforcer. He's a guy that like punches and does, hits people hard.
They throw him in when they want to start a fight.
Yeah, exactly. He unfortunately had passed away. So his widow sprinkled his ashes in the penalty box on Sunday.
That sucks. That sucks.
He's spending eternity in the penalty box. Like, it's not even 2 minutes, 5 minutes for fighting. No.
He spent half his career in there.
Right.
Now you banished him to that place.
It's probably like, you're comfy in here.
It's familiar.
Right. I bet that bench has a little bit of a butt mark of just him,
Customized seat, if you will.
So I've heard like at sea, burial at sea, throwing off a mountain or something. This one just, thank God it was the last game, right? Because if somebody had actually committed a penalty and I'd be like, oh, it's all over me. Right?
A fingernail. God damn it.
It's getting stuck to the back of my pants.
I know. Get off of me.
Is it just a trail of dust as they get out of the penalty box?
His name is Bob Probert. That was the gentleman's name. And he would have, followed you back onto the ice at that point.
Sounds like a probiotic Yogurt.
Yes, that's what it is.
Innately probiotic.
Now, if you put it in yogurt, it is a probiotic. It's a little dusty. So the question is Bob Probert spending the rest of eternity in the penalty box news or not news?
No.
Fair enough. Moving on.
All right. Never gonna let you. Aw. So,
Did you also make all the short ones?
Yeah.
don't worry about it. I don't want to talk about
I
it.
don't know why I gave him a computer.
So, then I got a headline for you. Russian man fills wife's car with cement as revenge for her name change. There was a supermarket in Russia that was trying to, that they had this promotion that if you changed your legal last name to the name of the supermarket, there was some sort of raffle, blah, 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 yada, yada. So they were just trying to promote themselves to
Sure.
the strangest. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Why not?
Perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's what
My
I
name
do.
is now Victor Wegmans. And this guy decided that he was angry, and instead of communicating his feelings in an adult way, he took his wife's car and filled it with cement, which is fucking amazing, if you asked me. He got a video of the whole thing. It's just him with a big shit-eating grin as it pours in through the driver's
Can you
side.
still drive it?
I mean,
Sure. I mean, is it a hybrid?
I suppose if she was in there when he was pouring the cement in, she could probably still drive it.
That's a good point. I mean, for a little while.
I mean, at that point, the axle's probably bent to the point it's like one of those cartoon cars where none of the wheels quite line up.
Right. You pour cement in and then 18 clowns come out. How did that happen? That's amazing.
And I don't know, a horde of Russian bears or something.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, so what do you think? Noose? Not noose?
I would consider that one of the videos that we would watch during lunch at work of all like the stupid shit that we watch. So I would say I would definitely be interested in that.
Oh, you're in the lead. I am so mad at you. Okay, I've got a good one. Jesus Christ. Okay, just power through, Keith. Power through. We've got this. NASA has put the Earth up for adoption. NASA has sanctioned off 64,000 individual pieces of the Earth to be quote unquote adopted by supporters on their website.
Oh, this is completely not what I thought it was.
The pieces are about 55 miles wide and assigned randomly. Similar to adopting a highway or naming a star, participants do not get legal or property rights to their section, says NASA. And so, because if I got a piece of the ocean, I would pirate the shit out of it. This is mine now!
But do you have a flag?
I would just go up there and I would start adopting pieces of the earth for horrible things. Like, welcome to Ebolaville. No, you can't use it for that. Stop
See,
it.
I thought this was a completely different thing. I thought this was, all right, we have proven that we are not
Stewards.
We are not responsible enough to steward our own planets, so we're putting ourselves up for adoption.
Right.
Please, some passing alien, adopt us and take care of us. Because
I,
we
for
have-
one, welcome our new alien overlords.
We're just sending radio waves of Craigslist out into the grand ocean of space.
Open for business. We give with adoption comes a free Justin Bieber. Take him.
Right behind
Please.
Earth up for adoption, there's folk metal band seeking drummer. And then the aliens are like, what? Folk metal? I do drum. I have 6 arms. I think this would work lovely. So, is it news that you can adopt part of the Earth?
I say yes because I cannot wait to meet my new parents. / owner. I don't know how it would work.
I don't know if it's the chunk.
Isn't that how adoption works anyway?
If you're in that chunk, you should get the piece of mail or something that's like, P.S. You now have a new dad.
If you adopt a highway, you can then set new traffic limits on that highway, right?
Sure,
That's
absolutely.
how it works.
Oh, does that mean whoever adopts my section of the planet can set a new bedtime?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You're speeding along and the cop pulls up behind you and you're like, go around. This is mine. It's fine. I'm allowed to go this fast. I own it. I adopted this.
But I know the guy who owns the next part, so
Yeah.
we're cool too.
We're good. It's all right. You're still allowed to stay. So, all right. So I
What do you
got
think?
one.
News? Not news.
I got one. He already said it was news.
Oh, he said it was news? My
Yeah.
bad. I forget because I don't tally anything that Keith does.
We're tied now. There you go. the worst day of my life. Here's news. I have a news article for you. I'm going to murder Victor. Is it news
That's not news
or
at all.
not news? All right. So this one I think is absolutely news. I'm not trying to like make you vote one way or another. But this one, I believe, is a South Dakota man gets a $190 fine for not having his snake on a leash.
Excuse me?
Is
Yes.
this innuendo or
Nope. A man who was fined for allowing his pet snake to slither freely in South Dakota Park said the animal control officer suggested he use a leash to restrain the reptile.
this is the intro to a porn? I'm pretty sure.
How do you leash a snake?
That's what we were wondering. And he thought it was an April Fool's gag because it happened on April 1st, apparently, I guess, or near it. But he got a ticket for animals running at large. And
So he quite literally unleashed his snake upon the public.
Exactly.
And because it was running around,
Yes, with
they
no
gave
bites.
him a ticket.
Yes. So Jerry Kimmel, who was the owner of the snake, was quoted saying, "He literally asked me to put a rope around my snake. I was like, dude, no." I was dumbfounded. I think it's the greatest quote.
I don't know if I could have said it better.
The officer said, if it's in public and it's not on a leash, it's at large. The ordinance doesn't really distinguish between animals.
That's a bird that went by.
There's a lot of at-large animals. Yes, but I can't catch them.
So do beekeepers, when their bees go out, they have to have like 800 lines?
Yes. They have to have tiny, little balloon strings that go out to each of them. And they carry them like a cloud.
God, and untangling dog leashes when you have two of them is hard enough. Trying to untangle a bee's nest?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is like a wasp's nest. So is it news or not news that you have to keep your snake
And I was
on
like,
a
dude,
leash?
no.
Dude, no.
I'm gonna say yes because that's what I want to know about. Like, what animals you can't. Apparently, your dick isn't one of them.
Well, the thing is, there should be an exception because basically a snake is a leash, right? It's right.
And when it's constricting around that child,
Right.
that child is now on a leash.
Like if you wrap a snake around another snake, you're good, right? At that point, the snakes are both on leashes.
Yeah.
I think.
Which came first, the leash or the
I'm not a
snake?
lawyer, but I'm going to say that is absolutely correct.
All right. So there you go. I got one.
All right. It's never going to get old, ever.
It's already old.
New male contraceptive claims that men can turn their sperm off and back on at the flick of a
Just
switch.
happened? Did your sperm just turn off and turn back on?
Why do you think I wanted to put it in the weather report, man?
It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's perfectly natural.
We're all changing. Well, they put in this contraption
Yes.
on the tube that comes that connects the testicle to the body.
It's a tiny bear trap.
Right. I'm in a lot of pain. It's literally this thing. It looks like a light switch. Yeah. It's a clap on and clap off.
As the sperm goes by, it just goes, gotcha! Gotcha, bitch! Oh! Yo, sit back down!
Should have put it on a leash.
Back to the walls with you!
No, everybody turn around. It's a blowjob. Go back.
Go back!
Go back. But
Did
apparently,
anybody bring their snake?
apparently you can click it off. But in order to turn it back on, you have to push some button on the side of it and then flip the switch. All this while it's inside your testicle.
Right.
So
It's date
I'm thinking
switch.
it's a date switch.
Yes.
It is. I'm thinking this is just some ploy in order to just sterilize every man.
If I
ever.
got one of those, I would put it on a dimmer. Just so there's a little bit of risk. I
you
just
could
want a
be-
little, if I like you, but I don't want a kid,
You can get a little bit pregnant.
Right, I just put it like at 10% just so that we feel excited about it. We don't know how long this relationship could last.
You get
It might be
10%
the
of a
rest
pregnancy.
of our lives. Yeah. That would be that way there's still the thrill.
Otherwise, why do it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe turn off one of them, leave the other one on, because
Yeah.
there's got to be one for both balls.
Right, exactly. I do different colors. It's like those
they're
light
internal,
bulbs.
Keith.
Yeah.
They're
but the-
it's like a light switch is sticking out of the ball sack. It's like the click.
just flick it. You just
Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, this has clearly gone way too far.
Yes.
So what do you, Sekengard, what do you think? News, not news?
I'm going to go with news.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, man.
that's going to terrify me in later years.
Pressure.
Dimmer.
Well, suck on that, Keith.
All right, some good. Jesus. All right. I wish I could say goodbye right now. That's really what I wish. McDonald's has launched a Snapchat job application in Australia. The fast food giant has teamed up with Snapchat to launch the McDonald's themed filter for the photo messaging app, with job seekers invited to try on the uniform and send a 10-second video application. I don't know if 10 seconds is long enough to know about somebody touching my food.
Well, it's McDonald's. I mean, it's literally you don't need to be qualified for anything to work at McDonald's.
Well,
Yeah.
well, no, it's not. I thought it was for them running the Snapchat, right?
What? No. So you can. There's a filter so that it looks like you're wearing a McDonald's outfit, just in case you need to check your privilege, and so you can be like, I'm tired of being a lawyer. I want to be with the salt of the earth, and you put on your McDonald's filter, and then apparently you do a 10-second message that you send to McDonald's as to why they should hire you. And I'm guessing the number one answer is, I know how Snapchat works.
I'm not finding that filter.
Yeah.
What the hell is happening to my phone right now? I don't get it. Oh my God, I'm a waffle. I am a waffle. Waffle. That's going on the Snapchat page. That's going on another wasted hours page right there.
Okay. Check out Facebook, everybody, because he's an idiot. And
dude, you don't
all right,
know.
so news or not news?
No.
No.
Not news.
Nah.
Because I feel like if you're trying to apply to McDonald's, you either spend way too much time on Snapchat, hence why you need to find a job at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Or you just couldn't have the means to have Snapchat to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Suck on that, Keith.
All right.
This week's weather report victory goes to dun 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 dun.
Well, I have one more, and that is so last week we said that Gwyneth Paltrow might be trying to kill you. And so, we're out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time.
You know what? Next week we'll let you know. Gwyneth Paltrow might be trying to kill you. We'll go into details about it. Just hang on until next
hell of
week's
a
weather
cliffhanger.
report.
Just hold on
Yeah.
for another 7 days.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Just I wouldn't eat anything. And so,
Or go outside.
so back to speaking of not eating things. Sekengard is here in studio.
Hey,
And
bands are tough. We know.
Yeah.
and so are you enjoying yourself so far? Any regrets?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. All right. So you said that there's a mandolin player, there's a drummer. I caught that. You're a fiddle player. We have a bass player. What else do we have in the band?
We have one guitarist. We're trying to find a second guitarist. We've been looking for like 2 years, and we haven't gotten another one yet.
Another guitarist?
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
yeah.
Wait. Okay. I've actually been following Sekengard for a while. You guys did struggle to find a drummer for a hell of a long time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And then we found a drummer, and then about a year after we found the drummer, then we lost one of our guitarists because he just, for reasons, and and
Amicable, obviously.
yeah.
We still drink with him on time.
Yeah, we
time.
still hang out with him, whatever. But and then we haven't been able to find another guitarist. There's been like 8 people to come in and try out, and they stay for like a day and then don't like do anything anymore. They just don't learn the songs. I'm just like,
They're like,
Why?
That was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I just can't
Really,
put up with all of Dan's puns anymore.
I appreciate having you out. That's good. So what other do you have other singers that also sing with you, or
Dan, the mandolin player, does some singing. Our guitarist does a little bit of growling. Actually, Adam does a little bit too. He
I
has
have like 4 lines in one song.
okay, so you are a bass player and a singer growler. What else do you do?
On the side, I'm also an audio engineer.
So,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
so you are an engineer.
Yep.
Adam.
Yes.
And-
Okay. Well,
yeah,
so
okay.
anyway.
That's,
Was that important? Like, is that an earlier episode I missed or something?
Just
Or?
a coincidence.
Okay.
Maybe I just
Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's
All right.
huh. That's okay. Anyhow, so I'd like to play a little tune from that you brought us. This is again, this is the Howling of
Howling
the Fen,
of the Fen. Yep.
of the Fen, which is a swamp. Not to be confused with a Sekengard, which is a land where people have spaces. And
You can adopt.
Glad to see that little linguistics lesson sunk in.
yeah, no, nailed it. I got it. So it goes a little like this. All right, I'm already going to just jump in here. That's pretty insane. That's not what people would expect to hear together.
Nope.
Oh, that's you.
That's me.
Very nicely done. What is it that brought you guys to folk metal? Like, that seems like a really different direction to head musically. What inspired you to go into that?
Well, I learned about folk metal when I was 15. I was just at
As
some.
we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. At folk metal class.
And I was at
I
some.
missed that one. I think I was skipping.
Yeah, you were. That was a Thursday. It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
I was at some metal show, and I don't know. I met some dude. He like commented on one of my pictures on Facebook of me playing my electric violin, and he's like, "Oh, have you heard of this band Elvedi? Blah blah blah. Have you heard of them?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, I've never heard of them." And they're a folk metal band. And they're pretty huge now. They're from Switzerland.
They eat a lot, or
Yes, they've grown over time.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
width.
But so
Like
that's
you do.
what got me into it. So the fact that I actually played like violin, fiddle, kind of got me into it.
Do you find that it's more popular in other areas? Like, are you like David Hasselhoff, where you're like huge in Germany?
is the
Right
gravity
now-
different in Germany?
Yes. Yeah.
Right now, no. We do have a friend, our band friend, Aether Realm. They're apparently really big in Japan.
Okay.
But they're from North Carolina, but they're huge in Japan for like no reason.
I always love that somewhere else you could just be this epic star. You just can't get there. Like, I don't have enough money to actually get to the
Right.
place I'm popular.
With the money you make here, you can get to here.
Here. So close. By that, I mean the other side of the world. I'm going to adopt you. All right. So you guys have a tour again, April 21st through the 30th. We're going to put some details about this tour. There's a lot going on, so I'm not going to go through the whole list. But if you're in Delaware, New York, Boston, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Norfolk, North Carolina, out in Pittsburgh, you're going to be all over the place. So if somebody is in those areas, drop by our Facebook page and we'll have all of the details as they come through your area. Without further ado, however, we are going to move into a little bit that we like to call This Week in History.
It's Friday.
God damn it, Victor.
Whatever.
Is
I
there
like the song.
Is there like a playlist of things that you're going to regret later?
It's like it's.
Is that what this is?
This is. It's on Friday. Like that's a point in time in his whatever.
The show
Keith.
comes out on Monday. It doesn't even make sense.
I like to party. That's all I'm trying to say. But anyway,
I've got to go.
I just don't
there's a
understand.
bathroom next door. So
Did you just sort by most down votes and then just use that on YouTube? Is that?
don't hate. All right.
So I'm not
fight
hating.
you.
I'm letting
I will
everyone else
fight you.
hate and then sorting by it.
Anyway, moving on with our lives, since you can't let it go.
I would
let
no.
it go.
I would totally turn her sperm off, just so you know. Just so there's not any more of that happening.
There, it's done. So this week in history, we go over real historical events that happened for around this date throughout history, and by the end of the list, you can decide what was the single most important thing that happened in the world ever in recorded history that we tell you about today, meaning any of those things.
Second to the show being recorded.
Right. And I think butter will always be the top notch.
Yes.
But still, we'll see.
Well, you never know.
First and foremost, in 1778, John Paul Jones sets out to raid British ships. I felt like this went right along the lines of Congress officially hiring pirates to attack the British. He was the first like real naval officer of the official United States, and he went and he fucked shit up.
Really?
Yeah, he sank a whole bunch of vessels. He's famous for that one line where his ship is pretty much sinking, and the British officer is like, "Would you like to surrender?" And he goes, "I have not yet begun to fight." And he ended up winning the battle, taking over the British ship and sailing home in that. I'm not even kidding.
I wonder what the response was, where he's like, "I have not yet begun to fight," and he's like, "Dude, look around. Look at you. There's a hole in everything." You haven't begun to fight, but you've begun to lose. I'm just saying.
It's almost like your drunk friend that tries to pick a fight at the end of the night outside the bar. It's like, no, you're done.
Right.
Just the flesh wound.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. That's a snake. Leave it alone. It's not even leashed. For God's
Even
sakes.
leashed. And that's a swarm of bees. They're leashed. Never
Yeah,
mind.
they're-
The bees are leashed. We're good. But yeah,
Unleash the
they're remembered
bees.
as one of the most daring and successful naval commanders of the American Revolution.
Well, understandably.
Thanks,
so.
Sam the Eagle.
Yeah, I got you, girl.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So that seems like fairly important.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
In 1865,
Ooh,
after
moving
the end
forward.
of the Civil War,
Mhm.
General Lee, on this date, April 10th,
Who's a car?
yes, General Lee. Auga.
They're meaning
Gives
no
his-
harm.
his final address to his troops,
Yes.
which I think, all right, yes, the end of the Civil War, pretty important. That's not what this symbolized, really. This was the official surrender. Like, you guys need to give up. I thought I'd reiterate to everyone listening.
Yes.
In 1865,
Yeah.
General Lee, the commander of the Southern troops, said, "We surrender. It's time to give up.
Yeah.
So cut that shit out. The South isn't coming back."
Right.
I still see little cannons on like doorsteps, all of them pointed north. Come on, you guys. So
I like that every year they reenact it to see if they'll win that time. Maybe this year. I got a good feeling about it.
We got a great team. The draft went really well.
Yeah, I brought a six pack. I think we really got a chance.
Well, we had to get rid of that one guy. We scattered his ashes in penalty box.
I would like to see if I like to think that General Lee just got up in front of her and was like, "Everyone, who had this date in the pool? Because we totally lost, but you made some money. Whoever it was, yeah, I know it was an underdog. So
Actually, he pretty much stood up there and went, "Well, it's been fun, but we're done here."
fun is a weird word for this.
He remembers them fondly. I don't know.
Yeah, like he just steps up and goes, 407 years ago.
Wrong guy. Wrong guy.
And they're like, "Dude, you stole that."
That's
from
not
the
even the right time
God
period,
damn
man.
it.
That's from like
Four
the year
score,
before that.
7 years after that.
No.
All right.
I'm going to sell you on eBay for parts. Keith.
Yeah, you should. That way.
Moving forward to
Yes.
1953. Appreciate it.
I had
The
to do
first-
something to make this show better.
You could push the sound clip.
I don't have the sound clip.
Never mind. The first 3D film. The first color 3D film opens. It was The House of Wax, starring Vincent Price.
Yeah.
In New York's Paramount Theater. And I'm thinking, like, there was a 3D film in the 50s. And
Yeah.
then there was that whole bit in, like, the late 90s
Yeah.
where Nickelodeon was releasing cartoons. Like, yeah, put on these 3D glasses that you got in your Lunchables box. And sometimes the cartoons will be in 3D.
And you had like in 80s, you had Jaws in 3D.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then suddenly in like 2012,
Yeah.
3D fucking blew up and people thought it was the coolest thing ever. It had been around for 60 years
This
already.
is way better than my dad's movies.
Oh my God, it's in 3D. Look, we're like, yeah, I've been watching Jaws in 3D since
Yeah.
the 70s.
Don't
Like,
really
no,
give a
no, but this is in 3D, but like the TV's really big. Like,
Yeah.
I was doing that in the theater
Uh-huh.
in the set. No,
No.
pay extra money.
Pay more money.
So I thought I'd just point out how stupid people are.
Here, I made this 3D movie and you don't need glasses. What is it called? Real life. Just go outside.
But there are unleashed snakes out there.
I actually grabbed a pair of 3D glasses from a movie that I went and saw, and then we did a concert. And at the concert, I said, I got these 3D glasses. They're fucking amazing.
They work really well.
Everything looks like it's real. Like it's like I can reach out and just touch you. Like you look like
I
all
think that's
And
a
that's why you're no
foundation.
longer allowed within 500 feet of that venue.
right, and that is
in most
why
elementary schools.
I can't own a snake. And so I'm like, what? I put the dimmer on, and so what?
Damn it!
Yeah. All right. Finally, I get to do one in the 1970s. 1970, the Beatles. The end of the Fab Four is announced by Paul McCartney.
Actually, fun fact: he didn't officially announce it.
No?
They asked him in an interview. They said, "So, do you see yourself doing any projects on your own?" Whatever. He said, "Yes, this is the start of my. I'm going to start a solo project here."
Yeah.
And generally, people don't have time for
More than one.
more than one band. I'm looking at
Unless
the,
you're
the metal artist.
Unless you're any metal musician ever.
Yeah.
But then they asked him like, "So, do you see any Lennon McCartney co-jobs in the future?" He was like,
Co-jobs.
"Not really." And they were like, "It's the end of the Beatles." And he was like, "Well, oh fuck."
Yeah. I like to think that he said, yes, the Beatles will be breaking up. And they're like, we know Paul's dead. You're not fooling us, guy who looks like Paul McCartney.
Yes.
In 1976, however, there was the great Tamale incident. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but U.S. President Gerald Ford, while touring the Alamo, bites into a tamale still wrapped in its husk. This culinary faux pas did not help his image as a bumbler. I didn't even know that Ford was a bumbler. I barely knew he was a president. I thought he made cars. I'll be honest.
Well, if he had a tamale,
Yeah.
he was
saw he was-
definitely qualified to be a U.S. president,
Right.
considering the track record of them in the past month
Uh-huh.
or so.
The
How
only
competent they've been.
The only tamales I know come in a box and are cinnamon flavored. So I'm not tracking with you, Rennie. I'll be
Are
honest.
they hot?
Yes, they are hot, hot, hot. Why couldn't you pick that song? That would have been amazing. I would have kept that. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
So in 1970, Apollo 13.
Wait, did we go backwards?
Yes, you
Ah,
skipped me, you jackhole.
I stole.
In 1970, Apollo 13's famous
Go back in
voyage
time.
of what the fuckery happened. They took off on the way to the moon.
Yeah.
One of the oxygen tanks exploded and ruined everything. So they climbed into the lunar landing module,
Yeah.
which has about enough air for 2 people for like 45 hours.
And one snake.
They had to make it last for 90-something hours for 3 people. They rounded the whole moon
They were
because
hotboxing oxygen at that point.
bunch of overachieving fucks. They circled the moon, and on their way back, they landed on Earth, kind of literally eyeballing it.
Just seems close enough.
They didn't have enough power to do like calculations, and they did those missions with the equivalent of a TI-89 anyway.
Yeah.
But
that's
and they
crazy.
all made it back safely. Now, disclaimer, I know. Yes, I know, viewers. Those missions are all a hoax. However, it's damn good television, and that's when it happened. So suck it the fuck up.
Well, speaking of hoaxes, you may not realize this, but Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus, well known. The founder of this, known for saying P.T. Barnum, saying there's a sucker born every minute. Well, it seems like in 1985, the 4 unicorns at the Ringling Brothers Circus were revealed to be goats.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
How?
they were surgically altered horns. They were just goats. They weren't actually unicorns. Which begs the question.
What happened to the horses?
Which begs the question, who the fuck thought a goat was a unicorn? Like, I could probably tell you that's a goat from like 100 yards out.
Or even like, you don't even have to look at it. It turned and you went, bah.
Yeah, right? I'm like, that's got a goatee. That's not a unicorn.
I see what you did there.
I'm just saying that's why they're called goatees. Anyhow, prove me wrong.
To go with a
And-
t-shirt, a goat tee.
Yes, exactly. So
Maybe a t-shirt said unicorn on it. People got confused.
I
don't know.
assume that the reason that people did not realize that these goats were unicorns beforehand is because they were slightly hidden by the gigantic balls on Ringling Brother and Barnum Bailey Circus. Just because they were like, unicorns!
I'm
So-
sorry, sir. Could you move your balls out of the way? I can't see them.
No, you have to see through them.
But seriously, they couldn't just like strap a horn to a horse.
Yeah, I can see you trying to pass a horse off. A goat?
Well, so here's
And if you're like, okay, surgically altered goats,
Yeah.
you couldn't just surgically alter a horse, which probably would have been easier. You just surgically apply duct tape to a horn and surgically smack it on the forehead of the horse.
So here's the fascinating part. Apparently, when you are a baby goat, your horns aren't attached to your skull. They grow in the skin, right? So what they would do is they would cut the skin out between the horns and push them together. So it would actually grow and attach to the skull naturally the way it would normally do. So there was like no, like they couldn't tell like how the surgery happened. But then they figured that out.
That's a hell of a commitment to a lie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Well, yeah, there's also marriage.
I think you nailed it.
It's not that different. Last but
folk
not
metal.
least, yes. I believe last but not least, is that correct? Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, in 1989, I'm just going to start with these words: ritual sacrifice. I think we picked this one particular for the metal folks out there who might be listening.
Where they decide to stop doing a bunch of different rituals.
Yes, exactly. They've sacrificed all their rituals. The bodies of 15 people mutilated by cultists are discovered in Matamoros, Mexico.
Yeah, but that's always going on down there.
Right? Is that also where the fireworks thing happened? I don't know. The victims, including the 21-year-old University of Texas student, were killed as part of a ritual to... wait for it. I just want you to let this soak in. Okay? Part of a ritual to protect drug smugglers from the police.
What?
That's right. They murdered 15 people so that drug smugglers wouldn't go to jail with magic.
Now, Keith, I don't really consider myself a smart man,
Which is true.
but wouldn't murdering 15 people tend to attract police?
You would think so. You
No,
would think-
Adam, it's magic.
Right.
All right, I forgot magic. You're right.
If you knew anything about anything, you would realize that ritual sacrifice is always the answer.
I like just this idea of, woo! You know why I pulled you over? I killed 15 people. Go on ahead. I thought you were a drug smuggler. You're fine. Move along. I adopted this area. Oh, okay. Continue.
Wait! Is that a snake without a leash in the passenger seat?
Needs a seatbelt.
Hold on, I'm going to take a picture with it. Maybe we can apply to McDonald's.
All right, so that is This Week in History. What is the most important historical event that we have shared with you tonight?
You each pick one? You pick one.
Oh, you're
I'm
both
going to go with the Beatles breaking up
That does seem pretty historic.
because that was one of my least favorite bands finally going
and you were
away.
like, yes! Fuck those guys.
I'm gonna go with John Paul Jones because I am leading back to like Beatles. Oh, I can't be in more than one band. I'm in like 3.
Yeah.
So I'm in a pirate band, and so that's pretty neat.
And he
They
later
started the
he later
privateer
joined
raid.
Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah,
As the bassist.
for sure.
Isn't that him?
That's how that works, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
totally.
that John Paul Jones?
He's been around a while.
Yeah. All right, look at that. I know names.
He looks pretty old.
All right, so excellent. So in studio again, we have Sekengard. We had heard a little bit of your music before. If you want to hear the whole track, just fast forward to the 1 hour mark, which is coming up shortly. We have come in to let us know about a tour you guys are doing, which is the latter part of April, the 21st through the 30th. You're going to be in Delaware, New York, Boston, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Norfolk, North Carolina. If you want more details on that, you can go to our Facebook page. We'll put that up there. You're also doing the Folk Metal Festival, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Saturday, August 19th, which is a little ways away, but put it on your calendars, and that way you can save that date. If people wanted to hear more of your music or find out more about shows, how could they reach out to you and get more about Sekengard?
We have a Facebook page. We also have an Instagram, but I don't update that a whole lot because I'm a bad person.
And Instagram's terrible.
Yeah, and
That's why we don't use it.
and we also have
Because you have to have a picture and we're ugly.
yes.
Speak for yourself. My mom says I'm beautiful.
Wow.
And to listen to our music easily, we have
Plows
Bandcamp.
through our idiocy.
We have a
Love it.
Bandcamp. And
one
you can just
time on
listen to it for
Bandcamp.
you. Yeah. Yep.
All
Exactly.
right. So we'd like to go and try this little experiment we have. There are scientific studies that show that our most intense memories are often attached to our basic senses. So we like to do a thing called the five senses. You guys have been obviously out on the road. You've been in studios. You've been in practices. You've been on stage. We're going to go through each of the five senses and find out what stuck with you through all of that. It can be things that were amazing, things that were horrifying, just anything that happened to be a part of that memory. We'll start with the most dominant of your senses. How about the sense of sight? Do you guys have a story for your sense of sight?
So we recorded our EP that the track you're listening to comes from at a little place called Seventh Wave Studios up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Right outside Hershey Park. And we walked in and we met Tyler. I don't know is it Garrett or is it
Tyler
a
Garrett.
K name his thing. He was going to be our engineer, and then the guy who owned the studio, a guy named Jason Rubel.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, cool. It's this cool little studio and whatnot. And then Jason was giving us a tour, and he walked us into the lounge. And he's like, yeah, this is where I have some of my records. And there's pictures of him all over the place with Amanda Palmer and some of her records that he produced and some Dresden Doll stuff and whatnot. We're like, oh, these guys are legit. They know what they're doing.
This is a thing. This is a thing that's happening.
So it's pretty cool to like walk into a proper studio and see all the gold records and whatever else around there.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
I bet it wasn't real gold.
Pirate gold.
I'm going to take a sidetrack here. What about a sense of taste? I don't think there should be any logical order to these
No,
anyway.
not at all. Mix it up.
Sense of
Did I have
taste.
something for taste? I don't remember. Did I have some?
I'll just throw in one thing. So we got a friend named Rachel Taft who runs a organization called Feed the Scene
Okay.
up in Baltimore, and she kind of caters to bands that are touring through the area, and she provides a place to stay.
Oh, cool.
And she also cooks amazing food.
Oh.
And so we've done shows with her where she'll show up with like huge platters of pork tenderloin and
Oh, this is way
sides
better
and
than
salad.
band spaghetti.
Oh yeah, no, way better than band spaghetti. And I know like some friends of ours in another band called the Dread Crew of Oddwood, when they come in through California,
those guys.
they specifically stay with her because she'll show with like these little trays of meatloaf for them that she knows they love.
Nice.
So when you see Rachel come up, you know you're gonna get some good food.
That's awesome.
You guys were also mentioning, don't you have a drink of some sort that's like a...
Oh, yeah,
band
that was what
drink?
we're going to do for taste.
Yeah?
I'll let you take this one.
All right, so I was mentioning before our friends Eisenmore, who we kind of were fighting over a drummer with. We were talking about them earlier in the show, and so we decided we were going to combine forces, and because for merchandise we sell shot glasses with our logo on them, and Eisenmore sells pint glasses with their logo on them. So we decided we were going to make a drink together,
So
some kind
a
of car
shot
bomb.
in a beer? Oh, okay.
Like a Boilermaker type
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
And so we all decided to gather at the fiddle player in Eisenmore's house, and we all got pissed drunk trying to figure out what this drink was going to be.
We all showed up with like 8 different kinds of booze and mixed it up. And we took videos, and some of them were stupid. Like their guitarist Tim was trying to put like a shot of Old Bay into a pint of Natty Boh. Their bass player Mike, their bass player Mike doesn't drink, so he was doing like a shot
was
of 3
bad.
different kinds of milk into a pint glass of another 2 kinds of milk
He
with
did-
lemons.
He did.
With lemons?
Yeah.
Oh,
A shot glass of lemon in...
I'm curious. Hold
Because
on.
I quote, I don't want to be, since I don't drink, I don't want to be the only one who doesn't puke tonight.
All right,
Well,
well
he
played.
nailed that.
Well
Yeah.
played.
But yeah, and so we got pissed drunk, and we ended up finding that a brown ale with a shot of dark rum. We used Kraken because it's the best, and we named
No,
it Taking.
It's not.
Fuck you. It's called Taking the Hobbits to Isengard because Eisenmore and Sekengard, you combine it together, it's Isengard. So
Yeah.
we're taking
You drop
the
it
Hobbits
in
to
and
Isengard.
clunk and chug.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
It's unique.
Oh, that's
That's
fantastic.
outstanding.
So if anyone comes and sees us on tour, the way to get to our hearts is to buy us a round of Taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
Yes.
That's the thing to do.
Or to
3
get me
kinds
just
of milk.
throw up on stage.
So if you want to get autographs from the band, you order them. What is it again?
The Taking the Hobbits to Isengard. A half pint of brown ale with a shot of dark rum.
There it is. So that's how you can...
Or 3 kinds of milk and a whole bunch of lemons.
The virgin cement mixer. All right, so let's move on to one that should be pretty easy for all of the musicians out there. The sense of hearing.
So last year, 2 years
Last
ago,
year.
we go down to William and Mary on our on our way to some other stuff and to play at their college metal club. And at the time, Dan is playing both mandolin and guitar in different songs. And he's playing mandolin in the opening song, finishes tuning his guitar, forgets to turn the volume off, and leans it up against his amp, strings towards the speaker. And nothing happened at first. But then we started playing, and it just started feeding back louder and louder and louder. And the sound guy's tearing his hair out trying to figure out what it is, because everything on his board shows fine, and we're looking around trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Finally, we have to stop, and that's when someone goes, Dan, your guitar! It's like, shit.
It wasn't the guitar, it was a mandolin. He's like, it's a mandolin! And I'm leaving it there!
So we still make fun of him for that to this day.
We just make fun of him in general every day.
But that's a particular.
Yeah. I like that he just had no idea how physics works. Like, this will be fine here. I'm just going to lean this wood on this fire.
If I'm not mistaken, that particular incident has a title, does it not?
Oh, yeah. God damn it, Dan. So, actually, God damn it, Dan, actually...
that sort of
happened.
incident, I should say.
Yeah, it happened. That happened a long time ago. That's a story that I don't really want to get into. But it basically we have buttons for sale for our merch. We have little buttons that says "God damn it, Dan" for Dan and all of his stupidity because he's a fucking idiot. And you can buy them for $1.
Never not entertaining though.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's all
true.
that matters. That's what this entire show is basically, is us being idiots and people going.
That's the whole reason I'm in this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, press the intro again.
Right? No, I'm not touching. No, not at all. All right. You know what? We'll do dealer's choice. What would you like to do next? I think we have
smell and touch left.
Touch and smell.
Touch and smell.
Go ahead and do touch, I guess.
No, I got one for smell.
Oh, you got one for smell? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll leave this to you. Go.
Smell. The olfactory sense.
All right. So this isn't. It's
kind of
van
is pretty easy for this.
It's not specifically me smelling it, but me imagining what it's smelling like.
Okay. Continue. I'm listening.
So excited.
And so last year we played a show, Festival of Legends. And we're playing it again this year on our tour. It's the last weekend. But on Friday night of the tour, our guitarist, Carter, we had never seen him. He was still fairly new. We had never really hung out with him. We'd never seen him drunk. We've never he's always been pretty proper and pretty
the band mom.
Serious. Yeah, band mom basically. And he got shit-faced, fucking drunk that I've never fucking seen from anybody before in my life. And I thought it was hilarious. When we were going back to our little camping area, he's just running down the hill with his arms flailing.
Oh, like one of those for sale things, at a
You play
used
with
car.
flailing arm too, man.
Yeah, like at the used car sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then eventually we go to sleep, and at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I just hear this screaming from outside of Carter's tent. And I'm sitting there laughing my ass off because I just saw the drunkest I've ever seen Carter in my life, and I'm just hearing just this vomiting.
Turn the dimmer down.
It lasted all day. He did not stop puking till about 5 o'clock in the evening.
Oh my God! Somebody get that guy a Pedialyte.
But
Jesus.
I was
With
just
some
so
lemon and some milk.
I was so tickled by it, and I was
You just
very,
wish you
very
could have
amused.
smelled the smell of victory there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh my goodness! It's always the straight-laced ones that you never expected, right?
Yeah.
That's how it always goes down.
Here's to you, Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think last we have our
Touch.
sense of
Oh.
touch.
Well,
Oh, we're out of
You
time.
suck, jackass.
Next time, you guys just have to share your touch story with us when you come back in, maybe before the Folk Metal Festival. All right, guys? Thanks for
Definitely.
coming in. Let's
Thank
see. Coming up this week, Yellow Tie guys at Bungalow Billiards, Chantilly, Virginia, April 21st. Shout out to the AWH mob. Join it by liking us, following us, retweeting us. Share the show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll mention you on the show. Next week, we have JDVBBS. That's the name of them. If you enjoyed the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour. If you hated the show, send your complaints to United Airlines, because they don't care. And thanks to Kevin Eminger, McNally 22, Justin Rogers, Freak Metal Records, Alchemical Records, and Engineer Adam, who was much better than Victor, for all of their contributions. Thanks to Victor, and most of all, thanks to Sekengard for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.